Broadcast button. It says stop broadcast, so I guess this means we're live. I'm live. All right, so I need to maintain what's in my head. So I'm gonna do a little kata that's focused on how to restrict the the creation of essentially data to only be valid or to only use for being valid. Let me say that a different way. I am about to go through a kata in which I attempt to only create valid data. That sounds better. All right. So I'll go create a new project, and apparently I was working on F or C sharp the last time. Navigate to Visual F sharp, go to library. Because this is creation, why not call it Genesis? Oh, I hope that's how you spell Genesis. The beginning, right? Creation. Come here. All right. And as that is creating, let me change this to clients. Come here. I don't really know how to use this script.fx. And so with this client, I guess I'll create. Yeah, let's keep it simple right now. All right, so we have this module domain, right? And this domain is going to have a type, and it's going to be called email address. Come here. All right, and say email address. Come here. Of string, because ultimately it has to be in text format. Okay. And so one can say that let's pretend that our client, come here, client says let email, instead of them saying email is, I don't know, x at abc.com. No, Scott, you have to always use Bizmonger. Okay. Scott at bizmonger.net. That may be considered, or that is, well, that has the valid format of an email, right? Especially if we do this, because right now that's just text. Well, if we do this right here, crap. If we do this right here, I don't see any red squigglies, and that looks fine, right? And then we can say, well, I mean, we could just do this right here. Come here, come here, come here. Select. Do this right here. And in this interactive window, says email equals email address scott@bizmonger.net. All right, so, but you know what? That doesn't really mean anything, right? Because we can do something like this: email address foo, right? And this email address foo, we can go ahead and register that, and we have an email address foo. But foo doesn't really have the format of an email address. It's not, one character dot, or it's not at least one character and then period, and then followed by additional characters. Well, hold up, Scott, dot. Well, you don't have to have a dot, but it's not at least one character and then an @ sign, and then followed by additional characters. And then I'm sure you have to have a dot and then some more characters, right? So for example, it's not like this, x at abc.com. It's not like that, right? I would think that that's valid. But when we have boo, it still gets accepted, as we saw, all right? So how can we restrict that? Okay. Well, we can one could say factory pattern. All right. Well, we take from the design patterns book, and we have, in this case within design patterns, they have a type that is whose sole responsibility is to perform creation. Let there be light. In this case, let there be email address. But remember, we're doing functional programming, and there's more focus on functions than there are types, and that's really in more than one way. I've learned to let my functions flesh out the types versus thinking of the types and then try to make them work with functions. But that's a different topic. Potentially that may be my next video. So anyway, all right. So we say, well, have a function that's dedicated to creating. All right. Well, good stuff, right? Good stuff. So one could say like let create email. Come here. And then you have some input, right? And you say like let create email, and then you could say if this input, we need a constraint to be a string so we can leverage the actual methods, properties of a string type. Else, any argument is going to be by default generic unless it's smart enough, unless a compiler is smart enough to infer it to what it needs to be. But I think it struggles with strings. Anyway, so we can say let input length has to be greater than, I would say, it has to be greater than or equal to 3. And also, I would say that, come here, this input has to contain @ sign. And I think that's enough for right now because I'm just trying to demonstrate an example. One would say the correct way, or probably the most appropriate method of doing this, or technique of doing this, is to leverage a regular expression. I don't feel like Googling the regular expression to plug that in, so I'm just going to leave it like this. It has to be at least 3 characters long. It has to contain an @ sign. I know one would argue, well, the @ sign has to be in a particular position or pattern of position. It can't be the very first character, nor can it be the last character. I get it, right? But I'm not gonna write that logic. All right, so so if then we can say email address. Come here. And then we do input. All right. Else, well, we're supposed to put it right here. Well, being lazy, I could just say, I'll just throw an exception. All right. And I'll do something like this. Failed to create valid email. And I could do something like that. Come here. Something like that. And then something like this. All right. And I could do something like, how do you do this? Is it sprintf? Sprintf like that? Can I do something like this right here? Is that gonna work? Yeah, it works. All right. So this email address is not defined. Why aren't you defined? Because I'm missing a D. All right, cool. So if we do, hold up. Now we have a create email operation in here, right? So surely we can say create email then we pass in foo. Oh, hold up. We do that. You do, shoot, what just happened? What does it say? Fail to, oh, yeah, this is fine. When we do that, we get this system exception, and we see failed to create valid email. Well, yeah, that's what we want, right? And what's this over here? If we say x@abc.com and we execute that, oh, what the freak? The value or constructor create email is not defined. Are you sure? Because it just executed up here. Wait, do I need to execute this whole thing again? Oh, okay. And so I'm not sure what that was about. Well, when we execute that over here, it's successful, right? This, instead of an exception getting thrown like we did last time, which was right here, we see email address x@abc.com. All right. Now, okay, so we added a function to create valid emails only, but does that really solve our original challenge? I don't know if you could really solve a challenge. Well, I guess so. Does that really solve our original problem? Well, the problem was, or the challenge, the objective is to restrict the creation to only valid values, right? And so with that said, yeah, we have this create email. It's going to throw an exception if that's appropriate on invalid addresses that should be of email format, right? And if it's of a valid email format, then it's successful. But yo, we could still do something like this. Hold up. We take this email address and we can still do foo. No? Can we not still do this right here? Now I'll go ahead and execute that. All right. Oh, now hold up. Now if I do Control Alt C, that should clear out my interactive window. I thought Control Alt C clears out the interactive window, but maybe I should put focus on the interactive window and do Control Alt C. And that clears out the interactive window. And I'll go back over here. I put focus back on here. I do Alt Enter. All right. And we say email address, boo, right? And so we're still allowed to create invalid email addresses because we can completely bypass this create email. All right. That's not what we want to do. So how do we enforce the client to use this creational pattern, right? This creational operation, this creational function. How do we enforce a client to do that? Hell's bells. Well, all right. Well, we put private in here, okay? Now, if we put private, what the hell is rebates? If we put private in here, then cool, right? But does that really solve our problem? Because our client is in the same scope of this domain module that contains this type that has private union case values or union cases, whatever the proper terminology is, that's what it is. Okay. All right. So, which means, well, what does that mean? Well, just putting private here doesn't solve our problem. What we have to do, I believe, is we have to, yeah, if you do Control Alt L, then you are brought back to the Solution Explorer tab, right? I'll show you again. Watch this. It's magic. Control Alt L on. All right. Anyway, so what we want to do, well, first of all, this should, we call this domain. Domain. Okay. And then we create a separate file for client. Come here. Come here. You do Control Shift A to add a new file. I don't know if that's what do you call that? A shortcut I created, or if that's actually default behavior in Visual Studio. I'm not sure which one, but I do Control Shift A to create a new file. Call the file called client. Come here. All right, cool. We have a module called client, and over here we have a module called domain. Right? Come here. So do something like that. Yeah. All right. And surely, email address has no clue what it's talking about. There's a couple of things that we can do, but I want to be the cool kid on the block. And so hopefully, am I allowed? I think in order to use auto open, you have to have a namespace first and then a module under that. I think I could try real fast. So you can say like auto open. And is that going to work? Oh, looks like it works. Over here, oh, yeah. And then I could say, well, if it auto opens, then I shouldn't have to import anything. So let's experiment with this. Now, do I have to add a namespace? That's the question, because I think that only works this auto open attribute if I have a namespace. Namespace. Bizmonger. And then you have this module domain equals, right? Of course, you probably have to indent all that. Come here, do something like that. Yeah. No, what the freak? Do I have to build? Apparently, I don't know how to use the auto open. How do I do? Yo, hold up. Bizmonger module domain equals. Do I have to open Bizmonger? Open Bizmonger. All right. Anyway, I don't know how to do it. No, whatever this auto open. Does this? All right. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I just have to do my research on why this auto open is not working. Anyway, surely I could just open up the domain and just do this right here. Open domain. Okay. Well, yo, why the freak are you not? Come here. Open domain. Oh, and I think no, I don't understand. Why? What am I doing wrong? I'm gonna have to delete this video. The union cases or fields of type email address are not accessible. Oh, that makes sense. Duh. All right, now I get it. And someone's probably screaming that through the videos, like, "Yo, remember you set this to private?" And now I get it. That's what I get for not looking at the description. All right. Anyway. And that is what we want, right? That's the whole intent. That's the whole purpose. I feel stupid right now, but I'll get over it, right? Because if we did this over here, remove the private. Oh, we removed private. So shouldn't you update? Yeah. And that's good. And then we put the restriction back in here, and it does exactly what we want. So we can no longer say email address and then pass in invalid data. Well, I mean, we can't pass in data at all. So then we can probably say create. And what did I call this? I call this create email, right? And so create email foo. And so if I register that in my F# interactive window, and then I go ahead and register this, domain is not defined. How do I do this? Well, yeah. Well, hold up. Okay, so I just don't register a domain. I'm really struggling. Hold up. Let me reset this whole thing. Control-Alt-R does a reset. And if I just do this part right here, I register that. And then I do this part right here. We get our exception saying failed to create valid email. All right, well, cool. That's what we want. And we can also do x at abc.com. And we do that, enter it, and we have a valid email address. But something's missing though. What's email address? I expect that to actually have the value. Just create. It says it returns the email address and the input. I expect this to have the email address and the input, and I don't see that there. That's interesting. Email address. Yo, I really expect you to have the email address and the input. The input is not showing here. I expect this to have this value x at abc.com right next to this email address. Anyway, so what if we do this? We can say match email with, and we can say email address value. And then we could say print f this right here, and then value, right? So we could say successful that, but hold up. What do we have right here? We have this: the union cases or fields of type email address are not accessible from this code location. And that makes sense because it's private. So we can't access this type. It's privately declared outside of this, I don't know, that module. So we're back to square one, right? Let me say, well, what the freak? We just perform, the ceremony, and we're no better than where we used to be. Okay. So what can we do? Remember, the objective is to restrict the creation so that we can only create valid data, valid values. All right. Okay. KKK. All right. My OCD is taking over. Something else I want to do. I'm going to do something like this. Hold up. Disregard what I'm doing right now. But function. Then you can say, I do that. I do this. No, why can't I do this? Should we be able to do this? Oh, you gotta pipe that. Yeah, I'm dyslexic. Okay. So we still have the same issue. And maybe that doesn't look right on one line. You bring that right back down here. But anyway, we still have the same issue. I just changed the syntax. So how can we get this thing to work, man? How can we enforce or restrict the creation to only valid values? So another thought is, well, let's update this discriminated union so that it is maybe hold up, come here, so that we can probably do something like this. Say private. I wonder if I could do something like this. God damn it, hold up. I wonder if I could do, first of all, can I bring private up here? Which it probably won't let me do, but which I could have like syntax like this. Email address of string and say invalid email. And it doesn't like that syntax. So do I have to kind of do that? And the compiler appears to be happy when we do this, okay? So I just added another case, I don't know, case value, whatever you want to call it invalid email, okay? Well, Scott, how does that help us? It doesn't. We have to do a little bit more, okay? Even if I build it, I mean, it doesn't solve the problem. We have to do a little bit more. So, okay, well, what else we have to do? What additional ceremony do we have to perform? All right. All right, well, we have to, or maybe I shouldn't say have to, but I believe a technique to accomplishing what we need based on what we currently have is to not only add another case for a discriminated union or choice for a discriminated union, but also we add an active pattern. All right, so we say let's come here, do something like that, and we are going to alias this email address. I hope I'm doing this right. I'm going to alias this invalid email. Yeah. And then we're going to say, oh no, this input equals. And we are going to say match inputs with. Then we're going to have, we're actually referencing this type up here now. Email address, which is, I'm not doing something right. Maybe I am. Match input with email address, and then we return email address input. Oh, what the freak is going on? Hold up. Email address input, and then the other one was invalid email. Just put that on my clipboard. Invalid email. And you just say invalid email. Okay. I guess we could put input. Okay. Now, is that happy? Uh-oh, what am I doing wrong? Oh, yeah. I'm missing a little, that right there. What are you complaining about? Uh-oh. This input is an email address already, so it already wraps around our string, so I don't need that. Okay, cool. Well, if I don't need that, then what am I supposed to do? Say function. And then say value, or we could say input. Well, no, I'm lazy. I want to use just one character. One character. Okay. Now, we go back over here. I'm going to build. I hope I don't struggle with this, or else I'm going to delete this whole video. We say, let me keep it simple right now. Just create email. Boom, 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 boom. We're missing a case value. I thought it was called invalid email over here. And print F failed to create email, and then you say %s, and I have this V right here. And so what's happening right now? It still says email address are not accessible from this code location. That's fine, but what we just did, it should be accessible now because Oh, oh, yeah. I bet you someone was probably screaming that out through the screen. Like, yo, you got to correct that right there. Okay. Mm, yo, okay. You go back over here. Look at that. Our client now has no more red squigglies. OCD is taking over. There we go. Yeah. All right. So now when we do this, let's make sure we register all this in our F# Interactive. And let's go ahead and register this as well. And we have successful, right? You see this right here? Successful x@abc.com. Okay, cool. Is there a print FN? Oh, cool. All right. Because I don't want all this to be on the same line. Control-Alt-C clears that out. Hopefully you should recognize the difference. And that looks a lot better. Successful x@abc.com. Good job, Scott. All right. So then we do like foo, right? Create email foo. And what does that give us? Come here. We have this system.exception failed to create valid email. And that might be okay if you're okay with exceptions in your functional code. I think I'm okay with exceptions in my functional code. But honestly, we no longer need that anymore, because instead of throwing an exception, we have the opportunity to take advantage of a new case value called invalid email. And so then we could really just do this over here. Come here, come here, come here. Yeah. All right. So we register this in our F# Interactive window. And then we go back. Let me clear out the window for clarity. The stuff's still registered. Come here. Failed to create email. Boo. All right, my OCD is taking over because there probably should be a colon. Yeah. Because this has a colon. So we should match. Yeah. All right. And you do that again. Failed to create email foo with the colon that I added in there. And that is what I'm talking about. Yeah. So what am I talking about? Well, if you look at the subject of this YouTube video as our live stream, it's supposed to have something like, create only or restrict creation to only valid values or whatever I named it. And well, that's the journey that I just took you on, that I just took myself on this early morning kata, because I need to remember this stuff and I need to like internalize it so I don't have to keep on Stack Overflowing it. I bet you never heard of Stack Overflowing as a verb. People usually say Google, but I just created the Stack Overflow it, right? Or SO it. Yeah, I like that better. I say SO it. Yo, let me hurry up and SO this. Anyway, or you don't even have to say SO. You just say, yo, let me sew this real fast. Let me sew this, and that's short for a Stack Overflow. I just made up some new ebonics. All right. Anyway, so that's essentially it. Here is our domain, right? Our type is email address. We have a create email. And then we introduce this active pattern, right? Which is essential for us, well, I believe is essential for us to restrict the creation to only valid values. And why is that essential? Because we don't let the client use the types that we create to throw invalid data or to wrap invalid data around it, right? I said that wrong. We don't let the the end user or the client take these types that we have and use these types as a wrapper for invalid data. I think I said that better. All right, I'm happy with myself with that part. So we take this active pattern and we just alias it, right? We basically alias the private types right here, and we don't have to alias. I mean, we don't have to have the exact same syntax. I wonder if this works. No, why can't I do Control RR? Hold up, you can do it right here. Control. Yo, why doesn't Control RR rename? Okay, it doesn't work right there. Well, okay, well, do you work right here? Ah, you work right there, but why don't you work in the other module? All right, so I mean, we can easily just say, you know, valid, right? And then we can, that valid gets updated right here. And you can register that. And I do Control Alt or Control Alt C because I want to clear it out, but it's still in memory. It's still registered. And then I can just go ahead and do this right here again. And we have the same thing, right? Failed to create email foo. And if I say foo@foo.com, that looks like it's something that's valid, and we can just go ahead and it's in there. Successful foo@foo.com. So I mean, essentially what I'm saying is that this active pattern doesn't have to be the same as these union case values or these union cases. I don't know what to say. What do you call these? Union cases? And then when you're using pattern matching, it's called union case values. I don't know what the right terminology is, but that's it. So again, this is one technique that I'm aware of. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there may be other techniques, but this is a technique that I'm aware of to restrict the creation to only valid data. And in short, in summary, it basically in order to do this, I'm sorry, I'm at a loss for words. In order to do this, you have to make sure that you set your discriminated case items to private, right? In this case, email address and invalid email, so that your client can't use it in a dirty way. We have our method that then takes advantage of that because it's still within the same scope. And in order for our client to believe that it's accessing these privately declared union cases, discriminated union cases, we create an active pattern over here, and that is public. And so our client is actually interfacing with the active pattern, and it's not interfacing with the discriminated union. And that's what we're doing. So we return that type over here from our active pattern. But it is, yeah, I'm doing a poor job explaining this, but I don't know, maybe I'll delete this video and do it again. But this is essentially it. This active pattern results returns the choice string. And that's interesting, right? Because it is, hold up. That's interesting. Let me dig into this a little bit deeper. What if I call this X? And I do X like that. This X active pattern must begin with the uppercase. Okay. Choice string. So yeah, it appears that our client will never, ever, hold up, I'm gonna do build. Yeah, our client will never, hold up. Yeah, that's what I expected. Our client will never, ever be able to reference this privately declared union case item. I'm sucking right now. But what it's actually doing is it is referencing this. In this case, it's a choice of string. And that is what we're referencing down here. So, all right, put that back. Put that back. And build so everything's green again. Why did you fail? Why did you fail? Oh, yeah. Put that back too. And build. And everything's green. And that is how you do it. And just to do it again, create email foods. Let me go back over here. Let me register this. Boom. Control-C. Go back over here. And boom. Failed to create email foo. And say foo, or we could say x@abc.com. And we do that. And successful, x@abc.com. So that's how you do it. And that's it. So I'm signing off. I guess I can check to see if anybody is actually watching this. Do I have any comments on here or feedback? I don't see anything. Live chat is empty. So I am out. I'm out. Let me go back to my Google Hangout. Stop